The American dream of homeownership may be getting a little bit closer into reach. New research shows that some encouraging signs when it comes to affordability. 9 News real estate expert Lane Lyon joining us now this morning to talk about all this.
Yes. Good morning.
You're the realtor and managing broker at Caldwell Banker. I want to get that out there.
Yeah,
so
thank you for that.
Know your background.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this and the good news, and that is the affordability side.
Right.
Of this.
We'll take every little bit of that we can, right? Because affordability really has been the hurdle for a lot of people getting into home ownership because our housing prices have gone up so much. Let me show you some numbers. Redfin recently took a look at what it takes to be able to afford the typical starter home. You may have seen this. The annual household income needs to be $109,000. That's a lot as a single person, but if you have dual income, that's about $55,000 a year. Now, what's important here is that number, while I get it, it's large, it is also down almost 5% from last year, Steve, and we've watched this tick down consistently the last 8 months consecutively. So it's a trend that we like seeing because for many years it was going the other direction.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're talking about starter homes.
Yeah.
I always wonder what people's definition of a starter home is. Our first was a townhome.
Sure.
It felt like a perfect place to start, but what is an actual
We all kind of have that idyllic, what it looks like,
Yeah.
right? The picket fence and everything.
Yeah.
And the reality is it's changing over time. We're finding that it just depends on what you can afford and where you can afford. The average starter home is, it could be a condo, it could be a townhome, it could be a single family detached home that needs some work, or maybe it's location. Maybe you go a little bit further away from what we call the core of Denver and get a little bit more for your money. And we're finding that home buyers just need to look into that. Now, a word of caution, if you're looking at a condo, you may have noticed, Steve, that HOAs have just gone up so much. A lot of that is because of the rising cost of insurance and building repairs, but that's not everywhere. In fact, I helped a young couple just last week buy their first home, a gorgeous condo in Cap Hill, not far from where we're sitting right now. They could not be more excited. They did their homework.
Yeah, they knew and I always tell people, it drives me nuts when people get into a homeowners association and don't know the rules of the homeowners.
Well, you've got to follow the rules.
Or they get in and kind of act surprised like they didn't know it existed.
Sure.
It's a good idea to just do your homework on that.
And understand what it's going to cost per month with that HOA.
Yeah. Well, someone who ran the numbers a year or two ago gave up on buying. Is it worth taking another look?
I say yes. There are people who pre-qualified last year that think they're out. That might not be the case just because we have seen our market kind of stay steady, if not down in some places. And it might behoove you to get out there and look and see what's available. Steve, I went online last night to see how many home buyer assistance programs there are out there. I was surprised. Across the country, that number is 2,800 different financing options out there because of all the lenders, all the credit unions, all the banks. 2/3 of those are aimed at first-time home buyers. And by the way, a first-time home buyer could be someone who just hasn't owned a home in 3 to 5 years.
Oh, interesting.
So you could almost qualify again if you haven't owned a home in a while. So reality is, I want to say this very clear. If you want to be a homeowner, there are programs out there, or there is a path to home ownership out there. It really does take time. And, I like to say, I've said it many times on the show, it is the greatest get-rich-slow scheme there is out there. So it's time to start thinking about building wealth. And Nick can say, yes, he's a realtor. Of course he wants people to buy. But I have not seen the prices like this. I've not seen the negotiating power. Buyers have more leverage now than they have had in years. So yes, the rates might be higher, but the prices are negotiable. Sellers are literally giving buyers money to buy their interest rates down. It's worth doing some homework if you're thinking about it.
Check in with yourself and check in with someone like Lane Lyon if you're looking for help.
Hey, thank you for that.
We appreciate it.
You got it.